Hi everyone! Today we're diving into a topic that's close to my heart and one that I've personally grappled with. So I understand firsthand how tough it can be. We're talking about addiction. It's a word we hear often, sometimes in casual jokes, and sometimes in serious news reports. But what does it really mean? Is it just about drugs and alcohol? Or can it also be about our phones, our habits, even our thoughts? Well, today we're taking a deep dive into the world of addiction. We're exploring what it is, how it affects the brain, why it can be so difficult to break free, and most importantly, what can be done to overcome it. So whether you're here to understand your own struggles, to help someone you care about, or simply to learn, this journey will give you a clearer picture of how addiction works and why there is always hope for recoveries. Let's start by breaking down the very essence of addiction. At its core, addiction is a condition where a person becomes dependent on a substance or a behavior, despite knowing that it brings harm. It's not just about a lack of willpower or bad choices. Addiction is recognized as a medical condition that alters the brain's structure and function. Think of it like this. When you decide to have just one cookie, you're making a choice. You might even make a joke about your inability to resist a sweet treat. But when that one cookie turns into an uncontrollable craving that takes over your thoughts, your day, and your decisions, it's no longer a joke. It's a sign of something more complex at play, a shift from choice to compulsion. There are two main types of addiction. The first is substance addiction. This includes drugs, alcohol, nicotine, and even prescription medications when they're misused. These substances change the brain's chemistry and create strong cravings. The second type is behavioral addiction. This doesn't involve a chemical substance, but rather activities that stimulate the brain's reward system in a similar way. Examples include gambling, online gaming, compulsive shopping, pornography, and even social media scrolling. While these activities may seem harmless at first, they can become compulsive and interfere with daily life. But why do these things become so powerful? The answer lies in the brain's reward system. Every time we do something enjoyable, like eating a delicious meal, laughing with a friend, or achieving a goal, our brain releases dopamine, a chemical that makes us feel good. Dopamine reinforces behaviors that are beneficial to our survival. Substances and addictive behaviors hijack this system. They flood the brain with dopamine, far beyond what natural rewards can produce. Over time, the brain adapts. It reduces its natural dopamine production and receptors. This means the person needs more and more of the substance or behavior just to feel normal. Everyday pleasures no longer bring joy. The cycle of addiction takes hold. Let me share a story. Sarah loved going out with her friends. A night out usually ended with a few drinks and some dancing. But recently, those nights had taken a turn. What once was a fun night out became a need. Sarah found herself constantly thinking about alcohol, not just as a way to have fun, but as a necessity to feel normal. When she didn't drink, she felt anxious and agitated. She knew she had a problem, but just couldn't stop. Sarah's story is not unique. In fact, millions of people around the world are dealing with similar struggles, and the science behind why is fascinating and complex. Let's delve deeper into the biological processes that make addiction so powerful. Picture your brain as a vast network of roads. Neurons are the cars that travel these roads, communicating and delivering messages through chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. Dopamine is one such neurotransmitter, and it plays a vital role in our experience of pleasure and reward. When we engage in everyday activities that our brain deems pleasurable, like spending time with loved ones or enjoying a hobby, dopamine is released. This surge of dopamine reinforces the activity in the same way that a reward reinforces learning. It's like giving yourself a gold star for completing a task. The more you repeat the activity, the stronger the connection between the activity and the reward becomes. This is how your brain decides what's important to you, based on the rewards it receives. Addictive substances and behaviors hijack this system. They force an excessive and unnatural release of dopamine, like pouring sand into a bucket with a hole in it. No matter how much sand you pour in, the bucket never fills up. Similarly, the more dopamine an addict receives from their substance or behavior, the more they need to keep taking the substance or engaging in the behavior to feel the same high. This raises a crucial question. Why do some people become addicted while others don't? The answer lies in the interplay between our genes and our environment. Our genes can influence how our brain processes dopamine, affecting our vulnerability to addiction. Environmental factors like stress, trauma, and social pressure can also play a significant role. Imagine two people, each with a slightly different brain chemistry, due to their genetic makeup. Person A has a genetic makeup that makes them more susceptible to addiction. When faced with a stressful event, they might turn to alcohol as a coping mechanism. Person B, on the other hand, might find healthy ways to manage their stress due to their genetic makeup, making them less vulnerable to addiction. Now let's introduce a third variable, social pressure. Person A might face more social pressure to drink due to their social environment, making it harder for them to resist. Person B, who already has a genetic advantage, might be able to avoid excessive drinking due to both their genetics and a supportive social environment. It's like a game of chess where your genes, environment, and personal choices all play a part. And while addiction is a complex and challenging journey, understanding these underlying causes is the first step towards effective treatment and prevention. But what does this mean for those struggling with addiction? How can they break free from the grip of these powerful substances or behaviors? Treatment for addiction typically involves a combination of therapy, medication, and sometimes hospitalization. Cognitive behavioral therapy is a common form of therapy used to help people with addiction. This therapy helps individuals identify and modify the thoughts and behaviors that contribute to their addiction. Medications can also be helpful, especially in managing withdrawal symptoms or reducing cravings. Remember, addiction is a disease, not a moral failing. It's not about a lack of willpower or character. It's about biological changes in the brain that make it harder to resist cravings. It's essential to approach addiction with empathy, understanding, and a willingness to learn. For those who want to help someone with addiction, patience and support are key. Encouraging professional help is crucial, but pressuring someone to seek help can sometimes backfire. A supportive and non-judgmental environment can make a significant difference in someone's journey to recovery. Let's go back to Sarah's story. With the right support and treatment, Sarah can rewire her brain to find pleasure in everyday activities again. By understanding the science behind addiction, we can move towards more effective prevention strategies and treatments. Remember, there is hope. Recovery is possible, and every step towards a healthier life is a victory worth celebrating. And remember, if you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please reach out for help. There are resources available, and you don't have to go through this alone. Here are some resources that can help if you or someone you know is struggling with addiction. Please note that I'm not a medical professional, so the best thing I can do is point you to organizations that can offer advice and treatment options. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and share it with someone who might benefit. Your support helps spread awareness about addiction. Thanks for watching.